you're going to keep your hands nicely.
Yes.
We're going to look like this.
And
today.
you're live.
I know. I'm trying to do.
They're just fussing at me about clicking a pin.
Yeah, because there was like an episode where you, I don't know, just sat there and you did this the whole time.
Thank God I don't drink coffee. The pin would be brewing.
I know. Well, what's in your cup then if you don't drink coffee?
Water.
Oh, okay. Water. That's all you need to get up and going in the morning. I just need water.
Tall glass of water.
All right, Jeep family. I am Neil with SFJ 4x4.
I am mad scientist, service writer, Scott Brown, restoration expert.
You're still going. You added to it's added to your title this morning. And this is the I Speak Jeep podcast. And we are once again in the SFJ 4x4 studio, coming to you both live on Facebook, and you can catch us here and join in and have a conversation with us. Hey, good morning, Chip. Happy New Year's to you as well. And as Chip is doing, you can jump in and comment and talk to us and leave comments and ask questions. Very cool stuff that we have available to us. And this video gets recorded and then goes live the following Friday. And big announcement for us for the new year. Well, maybe I'll hold on to that one for a couple seconds and build a little bit of anticipation. But
oh dear, my wife was very excited. When I told her. Yeah.
Oh,
then she asked me how to find it, and I said, I have no idea.
That's not your purview. that's not what you do.
That's not what I do.
That's not of all the skills you have
Jeff
in life.
If you want to know how to find it.
Jeff, absolutely. Yeah, so big. So you can join us on live and leave comments. You can go on YouTube and then obviously comment there if you're watching us on YouTube. But obviously, to get the latest and greatest content, you jump on the video today. And apologies that we didn't start exactly at 10:19. First of all,
sometimes operate on Simpson time. Those customers that no.
Those customers who no. Big shout out to you,
yes.
Those of you who know. But we did have a customer picking up their vehicle this morning, and that's a priority that we give our time to our customers.
It was a high-profile build.
High-profile build, one that we've been working on for a couple years at this point.
Yep. It was a big push right through the holidays to get everything done. And even with no part availability,
we still made things happen. And a big shout out to the companies who stepped up, again, through the holidays, because we were overnighting stuff out the West Coast. We had Clayton Off-Road was overnighting us stuff. PSC out of Texas sent us stuff.
Yep.
And so there was a big step up on a number of
and the shipping companies as well.
And the shipping companies really pulled through. Absolutely.
Yep.
And we had and honestly we had the best way. Kevin, don't worry, there will be a video. Hey Trish, she's saying Happy New Year as well. Yeah, and we actually found a bushing. And this is just the SFJ difference. I'm gonna brag on us a little bit. There was actually, if you're familiar, JL and JT upper axle bushings. It's a little bit of a specific design.
Yep, just used on that model.
Just used on those models. And there is a absolute national back order. There is none available. You can't go to any box retailer. You're not going to be able to.
When I saw Aftermarket hasn't produced one yet.
Aftermarket hasn't produced one yet. And so box retailers are carrying Mopar bushings.
Yep.
And if you call your local dealer, they're going to tell you that that's a national back order with an indeterminate period of time.
Yep. End of the month at best.
End of the month at best. And we were installing Artec trusses on Dana 44s on a JT. And so when you do that, there's actually several different types of steel. We have nodular iron, we have mild steel, and we have a cast, basically.
Yep. And the proper way to weld them, you have to preheat.
We have predetermined temperatures that we heat up to.
Yep.
And then we have to we wrap it in a blanket and put it to bed and let it cool slowly.
It's really bad for rubber.
It's really bad for rubber. And you guys have a great process. Yep. We do. We have a great process.
And once you remove a bushing, it doesn't go back in.
No. So we needed this bushing so this customer, we could stay on track. Yep. As we pushed through the holidays hard. And we were able to find one out west at a dealership, and that dealership was willing to sell it to us and overnight it into us and there was none of them left in the country. So that's how we do. Yep. Cool stuff.
Yep. So sorry, anybody else looking for them? They're really out of stock.
They're really out of stock. We actually sometime in a podcast we could talk about the last items in the country that I found and sold to our customers.
Yep. My fender flares were the last in the country when I put them on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yep.
We have
It
a lot of
happens.
those lasts. Actually, we saw a friend who went wheeling over the weekend. There was a bunch of sleepy Jeeps. They rolled a bunch of their
Oh,
Jeeps.
so many rolls.
And
Like every 5 minutes, they're on their side.
I don't know. Or the pictures just had them on their side
Yes,
constantly. I'm not sure
constantly.
what their deal was. But he grenaded his 4-to-1 case.
Yes.
And, of course, we installed the last 4-to-1 Terralo case in the
Couple years
country.
ago.
Yeah, back in like 14 or 15,
See,
whenever
he's
that
gonna
was.
make it better, stronger.
He is the guy. He has the
Yes, he is.
tooling and the information in his head
Yes.
to use the
That's
correct
what
parts
you
and
can do
pieces.
with machinery.
Yes, well, you would know. Fred
w-
taught you well.
I want one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need a lathe in the mill.
I know.
If anyone
That's-
wants to donate.
If anyone wants to donate, we have 3-phase. We
do.
can run it.
Yes.
So that derelict piece of equipment in the back corner,
Yep, I will love it.
we'll take it. We'll come into our horde, and we'll build more cool Jeep parts.
Yes.
So with that said, we have a video. We're a little bit late. We wanted our customer to get on the road. He is excited to have his Jeep back. Big shout out to everybody involved. Big push on the guy's behalf. What's a really cool thing about SFJ is a Jeep like that, we all reasonably touched. I mean, even our cameraman and
All of them.
And we even did some cool social media with that specific Jeep. So
Yep.
happy to see him off right into the sunrise, if you will.
Yes.
But here we are. So, what'd you do on the break? We were off. We had Happy New Year's to everybody, obviously.
So I actually, very unlike Browns, I don't think I touched a car the entire break.
Wow, that is weird.
That's weird. Yep. So I actually played a video game. Which
Okay.
is also weird for me, but it happened.
You played a video game. Tell me more. Was this like a car building
course.
video game?
It was a car racing video game that
course
you
it
can
was.
then build cars. So I guess I can't.
Okay.
I didn't physically touch the car. though.
Okay. Okay. You played with virtual cars.
Virtual
is what
cars.
you're telling me.
Yeah.
Was Santa good to you and your family?
Oh
And-
yeah. He got me a heating pad, and I was happy about it. That's how you know you're getting older, when a heating pad's like, yay!
Why are you so old at 37?
Right?
I don't understand.
I was
that.
sad though. I didn't get socks. I need some more socks. Got socks are dying on my watch here, getting holes here left and right.
That is an old
Undergarments.
man gift.
That is the most old man gift.
It is.
Socks and heating pads.
Back in the day, I was like, man, why would people? Then they would give me socks. I was like, wow, really want car parts or model parts or a model car or something.
Right. Gift card or something
This
to
year,
buy.
I'm thinking, yeah, I could use some socks. I'm not going to tell anybody though, because they're just given. They're going to give me socks. No socks.
Right now, your wife is taking notes. She's going to post here shortly.
Your anniversary gift will be socks.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I got some signs from my mother-in-law. Jeep sign that lights up.
Uh-huh. That's cool.
So that's cool. I had it on the wall. My wife took it down. I think it might be going in my garage. I'm not sure.
You put it up and it came down that quickly?
Yes, within a day or so.
If people are unfamiliar, Scott's got the most, the eclectic kitchen decorations, at least. And
Yes.
certainly your living room.
We did add to them.
Oh, so
We now have 3 car hubcaps above our bedroom door.
let that sink in. Above his bedroom door,
Under my wife's request.
they have 3 hubcaps
And of course,
Um,
they're brand specific to what we currently
to
have.
what you currently
We
own.
have a Ford,
Uh-huh.
a Willys Overland, and what is the last one? Oh, American Motors.
So his kitchen has car signs and model cars and other deco art, automotive art
Tonkas
deco stuff,
and
Tonkas and whatnot.
Buddy L, vintage toys.
Very cool space that you guys have created
Yep,
there.
and she's very
So,
supportive.
so you put the sign up, but obviously her support ended at that sign and it came
she
back
moved
down.
stuff around,
Okay.
and it got put in a box.
Okay.
And then we had gotten a bunch of triangle signs, and they have like 2 holes for mounting, and she didn't like that, so I ended up drilling a lot of holes in signs, so they had holes in the
Had
points.
appropriate mounting points.
Yes.
For her liking.
Yes.
The things we do for our wives.
Yeah.
The things we do for our wives. My wife has actually started her new job today.
That's
She's-
exciting. I was
she-
thinking of you guys as I was running around trying to get everything ready this morning.
Yes, this is her first day of school all
Yeah,
over
and
again.
for a lot of people, this is back to the grind today. as I'm thinking of you guys.
Yes. Yeah. For us, we're just carrying through.
Yep.
But she's very, very excited.
That's
We did
awesome.
not put up any Jeep signs and take them down.
That's pretty good. It's
She
not
actually
really good.
quilted. She quilted.
I
She
did.
made
There
beautiful
was
quilts.
gorgeous quilts.
She made gorgeous quilts.
Yes.
One for my daughter and one for my son. So
That's awesome.
that's what she was working on. But this is that moment. So we usually talk about what we've done. I'm gonna release our big news. It's something Jeff worked on diligently while we were off from the podcast. So big shout out. As always, I try to support our guys behind the screen and behind the computer. And sometimes you hear Jeff pop on. You don't actually see him, but you hear him.
Disembodied voice.
Disembodied voice on the production side of things. So big shout out to Davey and Jeff for always doing a great job with bringing this vision to life here, and cool Jeep stories to you guys. But Jeff worked very diligently, and we got this all figured out for the most part. And the I Speak Jeep podcast is now live and available on all of your favorite.
I'm hanging around with it too much.
Oh yeah, right.
It's
You're
a
right.
long
That's going to
list.
turn into a soundbite.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Favorite streaming and podcast platforms.
I had no idea there were so many.
You know what? So I asked Jeff this morning. I was like, "Hey, give me a short list." He's like, "Don't worry, I've already made I made a picture, and we're gonna put it online." And I was like, I just thought there was like 3 or 4.
Oh,
you
no.
know?
It's on screen right now.
Oh, okay, so it's up. So if you're watching, we've got. Why is Kevin asking about gas or diesel? What's best?
Because we talked about that.
I know.
Don't look at me.
I'm blaming you. That's 100%. I'm trying to talk about podcasts and the exciting work that we've done. So
I support you, Kevin.
Kevin, that'll be a future episode, but we will talk about it.
especially because we had a customer drive to Fort Lauderdale and buy a diesel Gladiator over the week.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's been in in correspondence with me because it was a JL that we did a lot of work on, and he drove to like New Orleans and then to Fort Lauderdale. I'm not really sure. He drove all over the country to get a diesel Gladiator. Very cool stuff. But anyways, podcast, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, the whole litany. So whatever your favorite platform is to download, listen on your commute while you're working in the garage, we're there. So not only could you find us on our live and interact with us, which we hope that you do, you can find us on YouTube, launched the following Friday. You can comment, and we're going to comment back with you and engage in conversation should you, we try to at least. And then obviously you can jump on and download and listen to us in the car now. Very cool stuff. And actually,
How
since
quick
we
does it
went
go on
live,
there?
so how quick does it? So we've been working on building up our library. That's a good question.
My
Jeff,
wife asked it. That's why I'm.
all right. So Jeff has been working on building up the backlog of podcasts that we
Okay.
do.
Yep.
And we are going to be going on per week.
Oh, very cool.
So what that exact day or date is yet
Is
is yet to be released and determined. but yeah, totally. We're off to the races. And actually, we've actually garnered a handful of followers there already who are actively downloading the series. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it really
They
neat to
really
see
like your
people's
singing.
interest. You know what? Actually, we had so many people. I had a number of people who were like, "Don't quit your day job."
Yep.
Well, whether that was loving or not, that's what I was like. It was. Thought it wasn't bad.
For every one of those, there was at least 2 more that loved it. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
You
That's
gotta
true.
have a grumpy person
And-
somewhere.
Jeff did that to me.
Yeah.
He did me dirty, is what it was. He
It happens.
there was not sound issues because the sound quality was great. It was like rhythms were off and tempo changed.
I just made it better.
Listen to me
two hitches
vamping
in the
about-
music.
See, he literally set me up for failure.
Just made it better.
Made it better. Oh my gosh. So yeah, please join us on one of those on your favorite streaming platform and find the podcast, download it, and listen to Jeep things and silly stories and cool builds
And
and
Neil singing.
products and product reviews like we have here on the table.
Can you guess what this is?
So typically we have a nice little display here, a cornucopia or gift bag product sitting here, and this is today's mystery product that we're
Mhm.
gonna briefly talk about.
It's a part of it.
It is a part of it,
Yeah.
but it's an elusive
Yep.
Somebody did that on purpose.
Yep.
All right, so we'll come back around to that, but let's talk about New Year's resolutions. So obviously that happened.
Yeah, I heard a
And
certain pizza chain is already trying to get people out of there.
how are they doing that?
Sending text messages. You really want a pizza? You can wait a day on your resolution.
No,
Literally
they're
says
not.
That. Yeah, my wife told me about it.
No way. You want? Oh, okay, Luke. All right, Luke. Way to be. So if you're not watching on live, we have commenting on the live screen over here.
I like Kevin's comment.
Yeah, it's much better.
The plunger. Oh my gosh. All right.
Needs a stick.
I'm gonna totally. So we have a 1-year-old in the family right now, and we're doing New Year's Day because it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And New Year's Day, and it got awfully quiet for 1 second, and that's never good.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, here he comes trucking down the hallway. He's got a little pot belly because he's a Simpson, and he's trucking down the hallway with a plunger in one hand and the dirty toilet brush
Hell yeah.
cleaning in the other hand. And it's not like one of those things until you look over and like, what does he have? And you're like,
in his brain, he's like thinking, this is a sword, and this is my shield.
oh yeah, something,
That's awesome.
He's got I'm so excited. And I'm going, like,
Nah.
yeah. Yeah. Big shout out to my sister for having her children over.
Yes.
Not my 1-year-old, my sister's 1-year-old, but yeah, it could.
It's not very pliable.
Not very pliable for
No.
plunging purposes.
No.
But yeah, it was one of those
Kinda
moments.
could be a funnel.
Could be a funnel. Luke already got it, but
Yeah.
for people not watching, we're
It's
gonna let
this.
them. Be,
So much for that.
so, why he is the worst with transitions. For those of you who are listening, Scott just grabbed the sticker and shoved it out in front, even though that wasn't supposed to happen just yet.
Meh. That's what I do.
All right, RCV. It is RCV Boot.
Yep.
And actually, that just was one of the parts that we just installed on that big JT build that just left.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely a boot for a shifter.
Look at that backtrack.
Yes. All right, thank you, Luke. All right, now. Anyways, so we'll circle back around to RCVs here in a moment's notice.
So what's
We're talking about resolutions.
Yep. So what's your New Year's resolution?
So I try not to be cynical. I want to engage in resolutions and not be like, well, you just make them to break them. But I was telling my kids, I was trying to have a conversation with them. I really want to take up journaling. I want to prioritize.
That would be fun.
Instead of mindless thumbing of social media, just to take a few moments and just write down a few sentences of reflection.
That would be fun to also go back and be able to read that. I did a 2-second journal writing thing because writing in literature is not really my thing. I like to read, but I don't like to write a lot. But I've gone back and reread that a couple of times, and it's kind of cool to be able to go back in that moment.
Sure.
And remember it in more detail than your brain can record.
Absolutely. And that's just the ability to reflect, especially with the growth and expansion of SFJ and all the things that we're doing. And then obviously my family, as our little kids grow bigger, and my family takes on tiny houses and alternative living
It's
and
a lot going
adventures. And it'd be nice to sit back and relax. So I was already thinking about this, that I'd like to just write down a little bit more. A little less screen time, if you will.
Yeah.
And so then my son gets in trouble yesterday.
Uh-oh.
And my wife, ever the school teacher, had him, once we got through the initial outburst, had him write. And they talked all about the importance of clarity of thought and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, there's the light bulb was on. And because my wife asked him, obviously, as we're processing, she goes, well, why did I have you write? And he's like, so I could slow down and think. And I was like, oh, my.
It's working.
It's working. It's working.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, Daddy needs to do the same thing, you know? And
my kid's been drawing more and more.
oh, that's right up your alley,
Right
your
up my
lineage.
alley. Yep, that's what we do.
That's right.
It's all car related,
It's
of course.
Of course it is.
He actually made us a present for the shop, and then I forgot it because I had other stuff to grab this morning. But it's a picture of a red 2A in 8-year-old drawing,
I love it.
and it says "to the shop" on the back of
Oh,
it.
that's awesome.
Yep.
I love those little gifts that kids bring in, and
Yep.
or people bring in.
Yep. We've
I
been
shouldn't even say
saving a lot, putting them away because this is just for a short time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little moment in time for sure.
Yep.
So had you made a resolution?
I
really
actually didn't really. This
I was gonna
year.
say I know you didn't.
I mean,
I know you didn't.
I had one last year. It was the focus more on one project and to try to stay the course on
Did
that.
you really?
And I'm just still working on that project, so I think it just rolls over. It keeps on,
Same
keep it on.
resolution.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you did an excellent job because you really did focus in on the 36.
I really feel like I did attain that, and I just got to keep going because it's not done yet. And
If you don't know and you're watching, you're just tuning in, Scott is building a really cool 36 for him and the family.
it's a 2-door sedan with trunk called a touring sedan. And those that also don't know, my dad had a 5-window 36 coupe when I was real little, and we also helped do a slantback sedan in my middle years, like middle grade years.
And if you're not familiar, these are Fords.
Our Fords, yep.
These are all Fords,
Yep.
despite our playful banter that we don't exactly align with Ford's manufacturing these days.
Ford changes stuff a lot.
Circle's the problem.
They always have, come to find out. They change stuff constantly. Like there's 2 different distributors in 36. Those are useless facts you'll never use again.
That is your forte.
Yes.
Your encyclopedic of knowledge of
Yep.
vintage.
But I grew up in classic cars and wanted something early to go and do car shows with, like I did with my dad, and involve my whole family, which they're great sports with. And I always have been interested in traditional hot rods, skinny tires and old low horsepower motors, 85 horsepower, yay.
Woo!
Um,
That's why you like Jeep so much.
Yes. So it just sort of fulfilling a dream. And I've given up a lot to do this project, sold off some vehicles and focused in really hard on it.
Mm-hmm.
And just keep up the good fight. Keep working on it. So
Yeah, and if you're not familiar, this is my friendly plug. Scott updates pretty regularly on his Facebook and his Instagram.
yep.
And obviously I do a lot of Jeep pictures on my Insta and a lot of family stuff on my Facebook, and you're welcome
It's
to.
always fun when we bring this up and then I see followers with Jeeps following me on Instagram.
Well,
So it's always cool.
absolutely. So you can jump on and see some of those projects or some of the family stuff that we talk about on the day to day. If you're on my Facebook, you likely have seen the quilts that my wife is obsessively making at the moment.
Yes.
So
Very nice quilt. So
back to the quilts. So as a purveyor of vintage knowledge,
uh-huh.
all right,
I'm worried.
and we've been putting this out here.
I heard that chuckle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
So being passed around the Book of Faces
Uh-huh.
is a meme or a picture.
Uh-huh.
And I immediately saw it and I thought of you.
Oh.
But of course, I didn't want to send it to you and let you know that I thought of you.
Yep.
I wanted to surprise you with it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to put it on the screen for viewers, not for Scott yet.
Oh,
jeez.
perfect. So,
Terrible.
this is getting passed around, and I want to know what your take is on it.
How am I supposed to
And-
know without the picture?
Well, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and what your knowledge of this is. And right now, there's a big debate online whether this is a real product that actually existed in the country, or is this a deep fake?
Oh boy.
So Jeff, can we have that up on our side?
Yep.
The viewers are obviously seeing it. Have you seen this yet?
So I think this is probably out of the Popular Mechanics books.
I agree.
It's back in the day, and it's definitely not real. It was like a April Fool's sort of thing.
Oh, I could get behind that
You
theory.
really don't want to spray .3 brake fluid on your wheels.
So it's .3
Insecticide.
insecticide.
I
It's
see
not
that.
brake fluid.
Yeah.
It's insecticide.
Yeah.
So those of you who are listening, go
I
ahead.
was just going to ask you to read it.
Oh, okay. Those of you who are listening on one of our streaming channels, this is a meme of a guy with a vintage sprayer spraying down some nice wide white walls. Looks like I don't know, what's that, in Austin? That's way too.
I feel like I should just let you drown
Nash.
since you
Oh, you're gonna let me drown. All right.
pretty
so
sure it's a Jaguar.
okay. course you are. Anyway, so Meme says wheels can be thrown out of balance by a buildup of wheel ants.
Yep.
Protect your car's smooth ride with weekly applications of automotive grade insecticide.
And make sure you change your halogen fluid regularly.
It doesn't say that. Don't confuse people.
That's the same. Probably the same.
So you think it's one of the vintage Popular Mechanic
100%.
spoofs?
100%.
Someday, 40, 50 years from now, tire ants. Yes. 40, 50 years from now, people are going to be saying the same thing about like Babylon Bee or
Yes.
some of the memes that went around in the last 5 to 10 years.
One can only hope.
Oh, please. the world we're living in.
Yes.
There are a lot of those good Popular Mechanics. The problem is, I tracked this down.
Mm-hmm. So you know where it was?
No.
That let me down.
But
man.
I know, but for the YouTube, we'll actually add a couple vintage links, and that people are comparing and
Kinda
contrasting.
ties into my project. It's actually people that do traditional hot rods. One of the things they collect is vintage magazines, because how do you better know how to build your car than to go back and see how they were actually done? So vintage hot rod magazines, Popular Mechanics, all those kind of things are actually pretty big on collecting, those that don't know. And they're what's called little books. They're like tiny compared to what we got used to in the 90s for magazines. So it's pretty cool. And there's actually a couple companies that are like will not let print die and are still doing print.
Forging ahead.
And one of them actually is little tiny books.
Really?
Yep.
I remember we had a traditional newsstand in town, and I remember gathering up, change and going down and buying like it was the Popular Mechanics and then obviously comic books that had like a rip on the corner, and they sold them for like 10 cents or a quarter a piece.
That was awesome.
It was awesome.
I would have totally got in on that.
Yeah, it was Popular Mechanics. In the back, they always had like the little stories and the little tutorials. And
I actually have a couple. What I enjoy is they actually told you how to do a project, how to build a piece of furniture, how to build a boat, how to build a little car for your kid.
how to build a helicopter.
How to build a helicopter.
Did you
or
ever
a dozer.
Yes.
Yes.
And I actually sent
Before
away.
lawyers ruined everything. Because can you imagine? Build this helicopter. Oh, we just got a guy that didn't do a very good job and he
didn't
crashed.
do so well, and he crashed.
Yeah.
I actually sent away, and I actually have the build your go-kart plans.
Ooh.
So I mailed in my $6 and $5.95 handling and processing,
Showing our age right
and got a booklet, because of course the internets didn't exist.
there. Yes.
And I have that I'll have to.
We need to do that.
Well,
Our kids are at that age.
we should build a
and now
go-kart
there's-
from out of
and-
the back of Popular
And
Mechanics.
now you have a
Absolutely.
property we can run it on.
But it's the most rude square body frame,
don't care.
Ah. Oh my gosh. God, that's so funny. I sent away for a couple things out of the back of magazines,
Oh,
but
boy.
some I got, some I didn't.
Oh boy.
Anywho.
Did you see John's comment here?
You know what? Thank you, John, for noticing my haircut.
He did get a haircut.
I did get a fresh cut. My wife attempted to line me and my son up. We're still working on that. But
Got a COVID haircut.
we got a COVID haircut. I thought, you know what? It worked in COVID. Why doesn't it work now? You know?
I haven't been to a barber since this began. My wife's been doing my hair all along.
What does that mean? Since this began? Since COVID began?
Since COVID
or
began.
okay.
Yeah.
That's too bad. There's a couple nice barbershops opening up in town. I'd like to support them, but but when the wife can line me up a little bit,
Yep.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, it's okay.
My son has like a straight line across the back of his head.
It's
kind of looks like he has a
helps you grow.
shovel. I know. We were like, it'll grow back.
Yeah.
She's got to
Just wait a
practice on
week.
somebody. I'd rather her practice on him than me
100%.
more often.
Yeah.
Totally.
We'll make less fun of him than you.
Absolutely. He's a sweet little boy, so that's not appropriate. For me, we're like, oh, it looks like the lawnmower ran over you.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so resolutions. You obviously called the good one on the Jaguar. It's Austin still, but whatever. But I totally am going to defer to you on that body line. That's a really unique body line.
Yeah.
Shape that sticks out.
I mean, there's not a lot to go on, but I'm pretty sure it's a.
You just totally made that up.
50s
Say it with
Jag.
confidence, and it matters.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the with resolutions and new beginnings, and besides the seriousness of my attempt at journaling. So you all will have to try and keep me accountable, right?
Yep.
That's
That's what we do.
That's what's going to happen. You'll have to see if that's
We'll bring it up later and put him on the spot.
absolutely, absolutely. I hope so. I hope Kevin or John will also. What'd you write about today? I don't know. I wrote about. I don't know how this 40 was too big for me. I had to lift up and turn and couldn't see. In fact, I'm going blind. I don't know.
Just
So-
back to the Jaguar real quick. He's right.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, he's very good at what he does.
That's what I do.
It's why he's gainfully employed as a professional car builder. I should hope he's good at that. that would reflect poorly on me if he was not good at what he did.
Yeah.
So, resolutions, new beginnings, first 5 mods. We had said we were going to talk about, let's say I'm a new Jeep owner, and what are the first 5 things that I should do with my Jeep?
The first one you do as you get it in your driveway from bringing it home from the dealer is lug nuts.
Yes, please.
Don't give them a second chance because they will hurt you later. You asked.
I hear you. I hear service team conversating about lug nuts. That's why we do free lug nuts with every tire wheel package at SFJ 4x4.
The more you know.
Yep. Because we do that because it's the way I can get you guys to be quiet. Quit whining about the lug nuts. Chrysler lug nuts have not been the most friendly over the years.
No. And sadly, Ford and GM have followed suit and done the same thing.
I understand, but my wife's 08 Impala lug nuts for her daily driver outside of her mom-mobile Jeep mall crawler thing, which is just inappropriate for what she uses it for, but she has it nonetheless. So we have this Impala. Her lug nuts are still wonderful, -1.
Meh.
Still
Should be changed.
So Chrysler engineer, somebody who's in the know, tell us why are our lug nuts?
Because they can't afford to do a full heavy chrome lug nut and they still want to be shiny. I know exactly why. And it's not what they want to do, it's what they make them do.
You think so?
100%. That's why all of them are doing it.
Hmm.
But up in our climate, rust gets between the steel and the stainless and it grows, and then you can't put a socket on it anymore. And then you peel the stainless off, and then suddenly it's not the right size anymore.
Right. You got to use multiple sockets.
And if you're not privy to this, when you go to loosen it with your impact, it spins and tears it up, and then your wheel has a highly likelihood of getting hurt. I've seen so many bad hack jobs of caving out the wheel to get to the lug nut to get it off, because now at this point you have to get it off.
I have cut an aluminum wheel
Yep. Everybody has.
with
at
an
one
air
point.
chisel.
Yep. I've seen wheels melted with torches.
We had a customer who called and said he cut his wheel off, didn't he?
Yep. I mean, it's happened. I'd say at least once a year I hear about someone doing that. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why it's my first mod. You should do that first thing.
Huh.
Yep.
Eliminate it before it becomes a problem as your thought
100%.
process.
Okay, get rid of that.
That is how you work.
Yes.
That's why we do what we do.
Step 2.
Step
You
2.
want me to keep going? Or you wanna
Wow,
do one?
you're fully prepared. You're
I am.
Boom. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
Is a flash cowl,
Oh, okay.
because you will use that from the time you buy your Jeep till the time it is built.
So JK and JL customers, Flash Cal is specifically JT,
you.
JK, JL, JT.
Yep.
That Flash Cal is specifically geared towards you.
Yep.
If you're not familiar with it, we covered it in one of our earlier podcasts, and it is a calibration tool that unlocks a bunch of little fun. I got to play with the Taser a little bit over the weekend, and it's very similar user interface. Flash Cal just comes with a nice handheld.
I really like the little handheld. I really
Yeah.
do. It just
Yeah.
makes it easier, especially when you're green and you're not new to modify or are new to modifying your vehicle. It's really scary with the Taser. You're literally things on the screen are changing and stuff like that.
You got to hold the left button and the cancel button at the
Yeah.
same time.
You have to be you have to know where your thumbs
Is
are
it
going.
still with the gas pedal and you have to move things?
No. Absolutely. The gas pedal is out of the equation
That's
at this point.
Because at one point you were like doing your hands and your feet.
You
are
were.
moving.
You were like
Your-
you were driving a. Yeah. Get out of the vehicle and
Run
and run
around.
around it.
Yes.
Jump back in. Rub your
Open
belly, pat your head.
doors.
Open, shut, lock, unlock.
Yeah.
No, it has the interface on the Taser is cleaner than that at this point. You're doing just the button controls at this point. I do like a Taser.
Yeah.
but I'm with you on the Flash Cal or Super Chips lineage of product.
It's just what I have the most experience with, so I'm going to be biased that way.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
the Flash Cal's as easy as playing the Game Boy.
It is. I like Game Boys.
Playing a Game Boy.
I actually have Game Boys.
My son found my original Game Boy.
He did. Is
He
it
did.
gray?
It's gray. Of course it's gray.
And
with
mine's
a little,
black.
Well, you were one of the rich kids.
Oh.
You're one of the
It was
rich
a
kids.
Play It Loud series. People know what that is. That anyway.
All right, so you're on
On 2.
2.
Let's see. What, you do 3.
Okay, so I'm all about a high quality tire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so people have all these immediate ambitions about their Jeeps, and I'm not even.
traction.
It's all about traction, and Jeeps come with really high quality tires. So they're coming with, a quality Bridgestone, maybe a Michelin, maybe a Goodyear. Most recently, Falcon, and obviously BFG. So we're coming with
Better
high
tires
quality
than we
tires.
ever have.
Right, better tires than we ever have in the vehicle industry, and it's mind numbing to me that the sole item that keeps you and your vehicle separated from the road and the terrain around you,
Triggered.
that people go home and they rip those off and they put on cheap import tires,
Very cheap to import tires.
and so. People want an immediate gratification. They come in all the time and say, well, I want a little lift. I want a tire wheel package.
But 35s and 37s are so expensive.
But 35 and 37s
And these
so
are
expensive.
100 less. Why can't I buy these?
And so the thing that I have is, like, you spend all this money. Obviously, you come in as a customer of ours. You want a high quality lift.
Yep.
You want to either ride really well or articulate amazingly. And you obviously, we have to do install, which is always like about a third of the cost of the kit. It's not that expensive. But then we get to the tires and they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to use these tires. And I'm thinking,
My dad always said you want your brakes and your steering very much important on a vehicle. And what connects both of those to the ground is your tires.
absolutely.
So your tires are just as important as a quality steering kit or a quality brake kit or any of that kind of stuff. Because if those products can't work if they're not connected to the ground.
Absolutely. And
then the next thing is to get the proper weight rating of your tire for the vehicle.
And that's a spot on. And so there's a lot of people who are not explicitly clear. And I believe when we had the 37s in the background, we talked a little bit about
Yep.
load C, load D, load E.
We did.
But right now there is a lot of tires, and my experience, professionally, is that the cheaper the tire, the higher the load rating.
Yep.
Because they have to use more radial bands to create rigidity or structure in the tire.
And aren't they usually harder as well,
So, and they are typically a harder compound.
which is actually counterproductive of what we want to do with Jeeps?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You actually want your tire to wear out. I know it hurts. And it's expensive.
Right. But it's what keeps you connected to the ground.
Yep.
You
And,
know.
and they make you feel better. They age out usually before you wear them out anyway.
Typically, if your components are all of high quality on your vehicle and maintained appropriately.
So just buy the tires you should have and want and wear them out. It's part of what if you wear out a set of tires, you had fun.
That's right. And if they're a good quality set of tires, they typically balance better. They ride better.
Yep.
You don't have to be selective on rotating. It's not like, oh, this one can only be on the spare.
Yeah.
I don't love that. So,
No.
so
Not any fun.
I'm here for a high quality set of tires being one of your first mods, because even if you don't have the money for a lift kit or a wheel package,
Yep.
you could still put a quality, aggressive looking tire on there and change how your vehicle looks.
Yep.
So you're at your lug nuts, because I just thought it was funny that you supplied lug nuts and you supplied a calibration tool, so a
Yep.
super chip,
Yep.
because when we put that slightly aggressive tire on, we might need to change our speedometer.
Yep.
So
We should.
we should. We're right on the same path,
Yeah.
because we're working on the same portion
so
of our
reading
vehicle.
my mind of what 4 should be?
No, tell me.
I think a quality winch.
Oh, that would be.
Because I've had people before, what do I need to do with my Jeep before I go use it? So use it. You will not know how to use what you want to do with the Jeep until you go out and actually physically use it. So the biggest things is traction, being able to get that tire on and off,
being able, if you have a Rubicon, the flash cow will let you play with your lockers and do other things. Plus, scan it. You got that code. Oh, I went in the water a little too deep. Oh, I'm a little worried what this light came on for. Pull that thing out and check it. It can be a big difference between a scary Sunday waiting for the shop to open, or you knowing what happened, or
Just it's an O2 code or something.
Yep.
Simple.
And
gas
you-
cap.
And if you got a winch and you go a little too deep, you can get yourself out. And again, you want to use a quality component, something that's going to last you the whole build, not a cheap import brand.
Well, and it's important to note that we practice what we preach. There's some footage out there of you wheeling a stock, 15 JKU
That is now on 37s.
that was on like Goodyears or something, some road tire,
GSAs, yeah, or RSAs, whatever.
RSAs,
Yep.
on just bone stock tires.
It's
and
amazing what a stock JK and JL will do. They are really the most capable vehicles they've ever got.
Absolutely.
Up to this
Don't
point.
forget about the JT. I took
And
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going to say,
and
and I was
duelers.
going to say, you took yours out on the Bridgestones,
Yep.
and you quickly popped one.
Yeah.
But I don't. Bridgestone, that's not on you.
No.
I totally blame Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely
Knowing
my
him
fault.
very closely at this point, I totally blame Jeff.
Oh, that was me.
Yep. You used it with the little base model wheels and tires.
He did. Did you even have it lifted at that point?
No.
No,
Nothing.
so-
it was
so-
bone stock.
Again, we're practicing
Sport.
what we preach
And you,
here.
and you listen to friends that told him to go places he probably shouldn't have gone with it, but
It made it through everything.
it
It was
did
the end
it.
of the day. The
I was-
tire finally gave
I
out.
was going to say, that's the fun of the Jeep community.
Yep.
Hold my coffee. Okay, I don't know. We can talk beer. I don't know. Hold my beer. Hold my coffee. I'm going to try this.
Yes,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, so we
Once in a
practice
while.
what we preach, and we took those Jeeps out, and we start to feel out those limitations that they have.
Yep.
I love a quality winch.
Yep.
Um,
And
what
I,
if-
I did lift mine, then do the bumpers and winch. People ask all the time, like, how should I build it? I do think you should do, lift and tires maybe first, and then bumpers and that second. But it doesn't hurt to have that either as one of the first mods.
Okay. So, do you have a fifth offhand? I mean, I could.
All you.
Well, so
I'm being
This is the
a
one-
first mod hog
that's fine.
here.
No, you're not being a first mod hog. And this is the part that is potentially controversial to us as functional Jeep experts.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to say get a color accessory.
Ooh.
And I understand that oftentimes
I was not expecting that.
I know you
It's left
weren't.
Field.
I
was gonna
know.
do lift kits next.
I know you were. And you
I
can.
feel uncomfortable
I-
now.
And that's what I'm saying.
I kind of like the color accessory.
I'm telling you, go out and get a color accessory. Pick whatever color represents you.
Yeah,
and-
that's another thing with the JKs and JLs that's happened is there's so many unique colors. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's a club for every color.
The
Jeep
vehicle
there is.
itself, but then your contrast color, right? Whether it's going to be pink or lime green or red, or maybe you've got a blue Jeep and you're going to contrast with black or tank gray or whatever it is. Because one of the very cool things about being a Jeep owner is this unique representation of the owner itself.
Yep.
And so while it's not the most functional thing, you can start putting fun little tasteful graphics in your accessory color, little hand waves so that you don't have to remember to wave.
And again, if you're
Jennifer
new,
Lynn looking at you, wife.
if you are new to modifying a vehicle, it's stuff you can do yourself with your kids in the driveway.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't need to be hard or complicated to do that. You can feel fulfilled. And even if that accessory only lasts a short period of time, you go later like, oh, I wish I would have done that different. You still started there.
Yeah, typically they're affordable. Little bezels inside the cab,
Yeah.
and the plastic brakes in a year and a half. Yeah,
Yeah, but they're usually really cheap. As
They
well.
are.
We're
Um,
allowed that cheap stuff.
yeah, and it becomes uniquely about you, the owner, and
Yep.
that's cool, right? And that's part of what makes us supposedly should make the Jeep community
And where
kind
we
of
want
unique
you
and
to,
fun.
to keep things around is when it does cost you money. You want you to invest the right way, the right time. Accessory stuff can kind of ebb and flow as you grow as a person and as your Jeep grows.
Totally. Don't run out and buy lights. That's
Yeah.
would be my what should I not buy?
Yes.
Don't run out and buy lights.
Yeah,
Whether it's
save up,
headlights, whether
buy
it's
the right
LEDs,
ones.
it's exactly that. Save
Yep.
up and buy the correct ones.
Yep.
Um,
I see lots of people like, well, I really want this, but I can only afford this. Well, then wait 2 more weeks and put the extra with it and buy
That's
the
how I
right
feel
ones
about
the first
tires.
one. Yes.
That's how I feel about
100%.
tires.
So,
Um,
it's sucky to do, but our Jeeps cost a lot of money to build. They just do.
Well, speaking of a lot of money, that's a finally an appropriate segue out of Old Man Brown here.
Uh-huh.
what do we know about RCVs? Because they are one of the more expensive options on the market,
They are.
but they are the go-to option for many of our bigger builds.
So the important thing about RCV is you will not break it. But the other thing to remember is it is a high performance part. So it's not going to be that quite quiet, perfect, succinct thing. You're going to service it. You're going to grease it. You're going to hear some noises. But it will not break. You will not be spinning a U-joint at any point. And they pretty much guarantee that from what I understand.
That is true. And what's important to know, so our traditional yoke ear style axle shafts, and specifically RCVs are best known for our steer axles,
Yep.
right? So if you're unfamiliar,
This is going to be in your front axle where your actual wheel swings back and forth.
yeah, and so that particular joint is called a constant velocity, and so where some of the minutia of conversation happens is that a U-joint, a universal joint, is a constant velocity joint, is intended to transfer energy, rotational energy, and allow for a break in that energy while steering.
But the problem with a U-joint is it has to speed up and slow down in its travel because of its shape. So it has to go higher, lower, and when you start getting really to the angle, it gets worse.
Correct.
And it eventually can do this kind of scenario where this has a ball socket design. Toyota and some front-wheel drive cars and stuff like that have a similar.
Grand Cherokee
And those.
and what?
And those.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I get
And some JLs.
marauded
now.
online, yeah, and some JLs on one of our videos because I leave Grand Cherokees out all too often. So
We started there. We
I'm
understand.
here, guys. I'm
Yes.
here. I'm here for you.
Yep.
I had those.
Yep.
You know what? Honestly, I didn't actually own a Grand Cherokee.
You did. It was a parts car. But
Well, I've owned plenty of parts vehicles. That's not that. Stop it. You count those.
Come on
That's-
now. Even I've had a Grand Cherokee.
Yeah. Well, that.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, Grand Cherokee owners.
I have used it too.
So
Yep.
so
my
anyway,
wife
so
rubbed many a tree with her Dub J.
she did. I rode barefoot on her
on
Dub
the-
J
on
on
the
the
hood.
bumper on the hood. I don't
On the
know.
roof.
That's a story for another. Pretend you didn't hear that. Actually, let's just leave that one alone. And it's important to note, completely sober. So don't even let your mind
Yeah.
go
We
like
don't
wandering.
drink.
No, I really not. So don't let your mind wander on that one.
Yeah.
I had pretty shoes on.
You did.
That's
And-
really the
and
reality of that
shirt.
story.
I
I
think
did.
the pants were sacrificed, thankfully.
The pants stayed on, but the
Yes.
shirt, the shoes, everything else. God, why are we talking about this?
Anyway, actually,
How did we go from RCVs to
my
naked
wife's
wheeling?
WJ did have constant velocity style.
did. It
CV
did, right?
Shafts.
And so constant.
Those
so-
are not RCVs. Any shafts
No.
are actually usually weaker.
Yeah, they are, and
There'd
they
be
and,
that one
and
guy going, "No, it's a great,
It's a great
junkyard."
design. I've actually back in the day. I mean, 20 years ago, we had guys pulling ZJ axle shafts out and putting them into
a Wrangler.
a Wrangler.
I did it.
That's a
I did. I was going through a lot of U joints back before I learned what a good U joint was.
I don't know how I feel right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
it fits. If you
I
wondered.
know we all know it. I mean, those
Well,
who know it fits.
yeah.
I mean, I
ZJ
show up.
ones fits in TJs and XJs.
Yeah, but they were weak. They were junky.
Yes.
So again, ball socket design, and we have a series of rotating balls. Which it's important to note if you've entered the Jeep market in the last 15 years and you think you were living in a special moment, we're not. This is actually 1940s technology, as
Yep.
far as I'm concerned.
If you get a 2A or an MB, take it apart. And the funny part is you don't know which one you have until you get it apart.
Absolutely.
But there's what's called a closed knuckle design. And the nice thing about it is it's actually filled with oil. And the U joints that are in those actually don't have seals, and they just are constantly bathed in oil. Well, they also had a ball socket design. And I've seen Jeeps where you tear this one apart, and the right side had a U joint, and the other side had a ball socket.
I did that.
You did. I figured.
Okay. So anyways, so RCVs darn near indestructible,
Yeah.
and the big
They
big
took
argument
the design and amped it up.
they did, and better quality control of components. They have grease specific grease journals,
Which is why you have to service them.
which is why you have to constantly service them.
Yep. It's only as
and-
good as your maintenance.
Amen to that.
Yep.
And the big argument I hear with people saying is when you have those opposing ears, not only do you have inherent bind at certain angles, but if one of those ears breaks, you can basically let loose and
Bad
it'll
things happen,
wipe out a ball joint.
and then your wheel falls off.
And then your wheel. You know what? And right now we're really talking to the ball joint delete guys, Kevin.
Kevin.
And crew of people who are enjoying the ball joint delete life.
Yep.
But yeah, so RCVs theoretically eliminate that reservation as well of utilization.
If you can't go all the way to a Kingpin 60, it's a good intermediate
Right.
upgrade.
Right, and they do have them available for all of your JL, JT. Hey, Kevin. There's looking at you. We're going to have a ball joint off, like a face off, and lack of ball joint
I
because
think
it's
it
a
all
delete.
depends on how big you go and how much you let it all hang out when you're off road and how much you want to get back.
Yeah, yeah, without doubt. So, really, really cool product. An immense strength gain over your traditional axle shaft assemblies. Big problem right now is just they are in such high demand during the last year and a half production lags. We have special ordered and had actually the Jeep that just left had a special order kit in it. About a 6-month lead time, honestly.
Yep.
Customer was really patient in the process.
Yep, it's one of those things, and there's a lot of different options with especially JT, JL, where you can keep your FAD, not have your FAD. Is it a 44? Is it a 30? Bunch of different ways you can do that. So it's really a lot of products that they have to keep and maintain
And
stock in.
this particular company, because if you know me, I love the background industry stuff. So this is actually a subsidiary company of a manufacturing group who's been doing driveline technology for decades.
Yep.
And so this is, while you might be encountering this product in the last 5, 10, 15 years, their precision manufacturing goes back decades, and really proud of what they've brought to the table. So we'll say 6 modification by lifetime warranty front wheel bearings if on bigger tires.
So about that.
Oh.
Lifetime warranties are not lifetime warranties, just so you know.
Oh, yeah?
I've tried that. I found that it's actually better to buy a more quality bearing. Doesn't matter how much it is. It's about the quality and how it lasts than having a good warranty.
And unfortunately, I can attest to that. I agree with you. Now, if you're a guy who's good to warrant it out 2 or 3 times, or if you have a connection at one of the box stores you bought it from, and you don't mind doing the labor in the driveway or in the
Yep.
garage,
Yep.
then
But you go back the 7th time, they might tell you no.
and that's
Just saying.
that is 100% true. That is 100% true.
Yep.
That's we've run into that with some other products.
Yeah.
And they go, well, I know it says lifetime warranty, but
But-
how was it being used?
There's actually this fine print over here.
Yeah.
You didn't read that.
Almost all lifetime warranties now say limited lifetime warranty.
Yes. Connections are key. See, Adam, I agree with you, and that's where it makes the difference.
Yeah.
We have a couple customers who come in and be like, oh, yeah, my uncle works at such and such,
Yep.
part store.
Not
Yeah,
playing
cool.
fair.
Have at it, Yeah, they're network
Yes.
to their advantage.
Which is what you should do. That's-
Because honestly,
stuff.
years ago, actually in the early years of the business, I did a I don't remember if it was a picture or a video. It probably wasn't a video, and it was rebuilding the drive shaft in the Ram, and I used lifetime warranted parts store.
I'll give you a guess. They're not still in the truck.
I got so tired of every summer rebuilding that drive shaft. I
Yep.
finally threw some spicers in there and done.
Yep.
So
Same way with why I tried that ZJ axle shaft, because I kept buying lifetime warranty U-joints, and we put spicers in it. Never had to do that again.
never had to do it again. So
Yeah.
at the
And
same
weren't that
time,
much
wheel
more.
bearing hub assemblies, there are some people, A, they just go through them based on their wheeling style.
Yep.
And B,
Or their axles bent.
or their axle is bent, or C, that there's not, that market doesn't have like a standout supplier.
Yeah.
There are some good products. We use a particular brand. We actually have 2 brands under our belt that we use when we build axles or we do a job for a customer.
We've had really good luck with those.
Yeah, we believe in those. We can stand behind them. But that market as a whole, hub assemblies, which could be a whole other conversation, because right now there's a gentleman out there going, if it doesn't have serviceable wheel bearings, I don't want anything to do with it.
And another thing too is your warranty. Just because they sell you a lifetime warranty doesn't mean that that's going to be around in 5-6 years either. Speaking of all of our hand tools, we grew up. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh boy, Craftsman.
Yeah, were you going to go warranty?
I
some of that
wanted
stuff?
you to be what I want you to be.
Yeah, they're trying. But
I still have my Craftsman at home.
I do too, and
I look kindly upon it, or
I
fondly
do.
upon it.
And I do have a couple tools that my dad had and stuff, but you're not going to get that warranted with exactly what you have now, sadly.
And we're counting down on the day, but Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, Harbor Freight, one of my favorite companies right now from a business standpoint, because of the business model they're bringing to the domestic market.
Yep.
Totally unrelated to this show, but that's a business side of things. But I really wonder where they're going to be, because I've seen them really upchurch their product lines.
Well, they've had to step up and make their products better because of their warranty, I feel.
Yeah. Well, that's probably true, because they were warranting so much.
So much.
And now they're moving into more saturated or rural markets, so they're putting up more businesses. Really cool business stuff there. But
Yeah, and that person actually wants to depend on that tool or that product.
Sure.
And
sure.
now that some of the other big box names aren't doing those parts or those stuff that, you need a welder on Saturday, where you're going to go buy one.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely. And, if the Craftsman, it's what we wanted Craftsman to be and what it
Yeah.
became. And then it's been bought and sold a couple different times. But, all right, neither here nor there. So RCVs, very cool product. If you are interested in the market, you this is a technology you want. It's a great upgrade. Takes out that serviceable U-joint out of the equation. There is a service pack, a rebuild pack for these. RCV tells you don't have to do it. It's really there
and
to
again,
tighten up tolerances.
it's a high performance product, so it's going to make some noises that you're not accustomed to. And I've had some people like, "Oh, I need to rebuild those." It actually isn't bad. It's just makes noise because it's what it is. Is just like you wouldn't expect your race car to be quiet and have a quiet exhaust note.
Right.
It's a very similar concept.
Right. We want them to be as quiet as possible, but
Yes.
it's one of those things like, well, if it happens, it kind of happens.
Yep.
But that's an aside. Very cool product. If you're in the market for it, you might want to special order it now.
Yep.
If you have, a JL, JT extra special package of some sort, certainly JTs that have like 3 different front axles available.
Yep.
Hard to come by at the moment. So as we look towards the future, we're actually going to talk about gas and diesel. We should actually do that, since we told people we are going to do that. And since I brought
I'm a
up
big fan
accessory colors, you're a big fan?
of diesel.
You're a big fan of diesel?
Mhm.
You don't own any diesels.
I know I don't. They're expensive. I'm also cheap. I want one though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on my bucket list.
All right. I can appreciate that.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about that. I also think that we had led people with a story. We had left people with a story about a car crash, a vehicle crash that we were in. And I think that well, unrelated to anything we've talked about so far, other than your and my vintage desires. Do you want to leave everyone with that story, since we told them we were going to bring that to the table?
So I didn't even own my house yet. I had an apartment, and I was blessed to have an apartment with a garage. And I decided that was a good time to start building a Willys Jeep. And had less money then than I do now. So I decided I was going to
Blind optimism is what I hear.
I was going to go find all these cast-off parts for that restoration guys wouldn't use, and they'd be great for me to build something that looks vintage and I go off-road with.
The rat scene wasn't big at that point.
It was not. Like normal, I was ahead of my curve. Stuff was cheap. And
I think there's really the key there. Stuff was cheap.
Yep. So I had asked around for this a tub because the tub's kind of a big deal. I think at that point I had a frame and a rear axle. I had gotten a 72 through 75 Dana 44 rear axle with rear disc brakes. It was a cast off from somebody else's build.
Where'd you get a frame from?
I think it was down south of Ohio somewhere.
Okay,
Can't
I didn't remember
exactly.
you got a frame.
Uh,
I didn't remember that part.
But in any regard, and that time I was one of Neil's best customers, so I called him and was like, "Hey, do you know where I can get a Willys tub?" And it doesn't
Yep.
have to be stock.
Doesn't have to be that nice.
Yep. And he
And-
said, "Yeah, I got one of those," as commonly what we say. And he did. So at that time I had the LJ. It was a repaired wreck, and it was rocking its 31s, I think, at that point, or maybe 32s.
32s. Did you have 31s a day in your life?
I did.
Okay.
I did on that Jeep. It had a budget boost that I put in the parking or the garage of my apartment on pallets with countertops as a floor.
What did you do?
went off the ground.
Just tell this. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, and my
He
dad,
said pallets and countertop for a
Yes.
floor.
it was actually worked really nice. Anyway, my dad had built
We're
this.
professionals, people. I promise.
Yeah, I have a cement floor now. It's where you come from. Anyway.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway.
It's character building.
My dad had built this little trailer out of a boat trailer, teenies that people that know.
Did it have a countertop floor also?
No, it did not, because it was from my dad. And a Willys tub fits in it perfect. So I'd hooked that on the Jeep, and I picked him up, and we're cruising on down the road, and we're talking Jeeps, and I'm excited, and I look up and I see brake lights.
Can I hold just one moment? Where did we get the tub from?
Well, we haven't got there yet.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, we hooked up the trailer.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
right.
telling you in progression.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway,
That's
So we're-
right. I forgot about that. All right.
so we're
Context.
Context.
We're cruising along down Route 20.
Found a zippy tie.
Just past the mall and everything, and there was a deer hit on the side of the road. And this is when little racer cars were everywhere, and they had hit a deer, and they were mourning the casualty.
The morning
like,
the cat.
There's like 5 of them on the side of the road. So
their body kits have exploded.
They have, all the plastic, or
All the
fiberglass,
plastic and
they're
fiberglasses.
like they're all bent down at the front of this little
Fast and
Civic
Furious.
or something.
Yes.
And we're cruising along, and I look over at them, and I look back at the front of
road.
me at the road, and there's brake lights, and I slam on the brakes, lock up the tires on the
Little
LJ.
trailer is pushing us.
Yep, and rear end of Pacifica,
Probably the best thing that happened at Pacific.
and I folded the tailgate into that, and I'm
So now there's a deer hit with a bunch of Fast and Furious cars.
yes, and we're beside it.
We're beside it. We're on a 4-lane.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
now a 2-lane.
Now it's a 2-lane in the westbound.
Lots of people
action.
angry at us.
Oh my gosh.
And the Jeep starts misfiring and acting a fool. And I'm like, I did it. I totaled the Jeep again.
It was already a total Jeep.
and Neil gets out and walks up the front of the Jeep, looks at it, comes back, and he's like, it's not that bad.
You were freaking out.
I was freaking out. He starts
Freaking out.
laughing. And so we finally get everything. Obviously, at this point, we need to clear the road. So we get over into this parking lot, and I get out the Jeep, and my fog light has been over, and that's about it.
Yeah, that was it. You were freaking out. Did we exchange insurance information with Pacifica? You had to have.
We had to, because the police were already there. They just kind of walked over, like, "Hi."
Oh, that's right. They
watched
were
this
already there.
happen.
Yes, this accident happened. It's a no-fault state.
And I was like, why did this happen? And they're like, oh, there was actually a Dakota with no brake lights in front of the Pacifica and was turning, and he slammed on his brakes, chain reaction.
So rural America, we're in a mass car pile up
Yep.
over a deer.
So everything happens and calms down, and we exchange insurance and all that stuff, and I kind of come down off my adrenaline, and I'm like, what do we do now? And Neil's like, let's go get the tub.
Let's go get the tub.
What the heck?
What? You were like, you want to go home and check it out? Or you were
Yeah.
worried about the radiator? I remember you were like,
No, we checked it out in the parking lot.
I know, everything was good.
Everything was mint.
We're going to go get a tub.
So we drove on in the Conneaut to the family farm, and I don't think I knew where the tub was.
You didn't
at
know where
this
the tub
point.
was yet.
And he's like, "Oh, drive beside the driveway." So I did, and then there's all these low-hanging fruit trees that banging off the Jeep, which we still do that.
Oh.
And
Yeah. Yeah, property doesn't look a whole lot different, honestly,
no,
at this
honestly
point.
doesn't. We get back to a gate, and he says, "Hold on a second." He gets out, opens the gate, and there's a hay field of sorts.
And it's a pasture. It's a
Yeah.
pasture. It's a livestock gate.
And it's
and
at least waist deep.
Oh yeah, it's at least waist deep, overgrown, and we weren't on that level necessarily. We were
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
but I'm leading you
I
off
knew
into
I wa-
banjo
I
territory.
knew I wasn't getting shot, but other than that, everything else was
leading you off into banjo territory as we go through a gate in our recently wrecked LJ
Yeah.
with a little
boat
trailer,
trailer.
little boat trailer.
And so we get up there, and he says, "Oh, right about up by this tree, and here's his grandpa's scrap pile." So all I saw was a tub, and I was like, "Ooh, tub!"
Oh yeah, we thought we were hit a gold mine
And
at
we
that point.
flung the scrap out of it, and the back of it was square checker play. I've never seen it before. Sure, it was something somebody found.
Oh,
at
yeah.
some took home from their job or something.
Wasn't my grandpa, but he was classic for using road signs.
Yeah.
We promise we didn't steal them,
No,
maybe.
maybe.
But I have in my personal garage a church entrance sign that he purposely used as the floorboard of a Jeep. Actually, it might have been in that tub.
No, I don't remember that.
I don't
part.
think it was that tub. It was a different tub.
But the back of it was actually, instead of rounded corner, it was square. But at this point, I didn't care because it was a tub.
We thought it was gold.
And we stuffed that in the back. And I remember going back to my apartment, parking in front of my apartment, taking pictures to the joy of all my neighbors.
Yeah, you were totally that guy. who
Yeah.
Brought that. You see that meme? It's like every neighborhood has this guy.
Yeah, that was me.
unless you don't, and then it's you. You know. Yeah,
And,
we
and then I built a Jeep out of that, and then found a nicer tub. And
after you put a ton of energy into that.
I
tub.
actually did my first floor replacement in that tub from the field. And then I gave it to a family member of my wife's, and then he didn't do anything
He
with
gave it back to you.
He gave it back to me, and I didn't have a spot to put it, so I gave it back to Neil.
I had it.
And then it got put on the ridge rack.
It was sat up in the rafters here.
And then we had a 55 CJ5 frame that we gathered from somewhere. And he made me take that home and then made me take the tub back.
Yeah, now you have it back in your possession.
And my child calls it his Jeep.
Yeah, and then I hope someday it does become his Jeep.
I think it will be.
That's one that just will not go away. Yeah,
Yep.
they keep coming to us.
If you let it go
We'll
and it comes
shepherd-
back 3 or 4 times, it's meant to be.
It's true love.
But
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
46 CJ2A, which is the brethren to your 46 CJ2A
is.
because it's the original body.
It is.
And they're ironically side by side right now in my field, keeping each other company.
We don't talk about those things. No, we're not supposed to. I had the best time. I had a conversation with a friend from years ago, and he was talking about my collection. We were talking about his collection. I was like, I don't add them up. I don't know.
Plead
All
the
right.
fifth.
On that note, Jeep family, we thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stories and the information, the products. Hashtag not sponsored.
Yep.
We will do this again next Monday at 10:19 a.m. live on Facebook. In the meantime, look for it to go up on YouTube, or you can start to download all of the past episodes and upcoming episodes on your favorite streaming service for podcasts, and listen to us on the trail, on the road, or in the potty, wherever you do
Oh, dear.
podcast listening. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the YouTube video, share the Facebook Live in the future. Head over to sfj4x4.com. Grab yourself some SFJ gear. Oh, I was rocking a hoodie from one of our partner businesses. Didn't even talk about it.
Yep.
Next
Terrible.
time.
And we got a lot of fun things coming up and going on in the background, so you
We
definitely
do.
want to follow along to see all that stuff.
We do, and we have a couple really cool nut bolt frame restorations. One that's a frame off restoration. One that's a nut and bolt not restoration. Ryan, and some big performance builds coming up. We got a really sick LJ coming in for JK Ultimate 44 ton, not quite ton swaps, but 44 swaps, and sick IRO 3-link triangulated rear suspension. So really cool stuff happening in the new year. And kind of proud. We had a Jeep sitting whole in the space just behind the camera. You can't even tell that right now. And so Davey comes in today and he goes, where did where did this go? Like, there was a whole Jeep there not too long ago. And Scott did what Scott does.
Yep.
And I assured Davey that the whole Jeep was actually still present in the shop.
Yep.
Um,
Just can't find it.
you just can't find it. So
Only one part is left.
that's what we do. So until next time, Jeep family, make sure to like, subscribe, follow us, share, enjoy, comment, and Jeep on.
Keep on.